Hi, Gerhard Bloom, once again looking at the tyranny and the delusions of the social justice movement. So as Israel is confronting terrorist attacks from all sides, the Biden administration is continuing to pressure Israel and to stop it from escalating the situation. They want a ceasefire. Well, for those of you who understand very little of the region, before the October 7th atrocities committed by Hamas in Gaza, there was a ceasefire. And when Israel unilaterally withdrew from Gaza, yes, Israeli Jews were living in the city of Gaza. In southern Gaza, they had beautiful greenhouses and wonderful. When they evacuated, as a goodwill gesture, they left these greenhouses, beautiful, flourishing. Palestinians burned them to the ground. And gets better. Almost immediately after, Hamas starts launching rockets into Israel. And several times Israeli forces have gone in, quell the violence and the terrorist attacks to withdraw again. October 7th, Israel knew it had to go in there and destroy Hamas. Tear it out, root and branch. And that's exactly what it's doing. Peace negotiations, there's no negotiating with these people. They're barbaric murderers, torture, rapist murderers. They need to be destroyed. And Biden and Harris and that administration, trying to put the brakes and restrain Israel. Now is not the time for restraint. It's the time for victory. I did a video on this, on the Vietnam War. That Vietnam War, many times over, came close to crushing North Vietnam. And instead, these pointy-headed administration officials lost the war, just like in Afghanistan. But anyways, I digress. With Hamas, it needs to be destroyed, and it very nearly is. Hamas very nearly destroyed. What about Hezbollah? Poor Hezbollah. Well, I'll go into the details about Hezbollah and just how villainous this organization is. But recently, Israel took out Fahd Shukra, and of course, Hezbollah vowing revenge. Well, Fahd Shukra was responsible for the attacks, rocket attacks that killed 12 Druze children. Yep. Well, Israel took him out. But Fahd Shukra, for those not in the know, was a founding member of Hamas. In 1993, he played a significant part in the Marine barracks attack that killed 241 U.S. personnel. So he has American blood on his hands, right? Well, Israel did them the favor of taking him out. And he was a right-hand man to Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hamas. And then, of course, I failed to mention, on October 8th, Hezbollah started launching rockets into Israel, into northern Israel. And northern Israeli communities had to evacuate. Tens of thousands, between 60 and 100,000 Jews have been evacuated from the area, living in hotels. Their kids are going to strange schools. They want to go back home, and they haven't been. So Israel needs to get in and take care of Hezbollah. Israel had been in Lebanon for years, and yes, it unilaterally withdrew. The Lebanese military was supposed to ensure that there was no Hezbollah south of the Litani River, to give Israel a buffer zone. And UN was supposed to ensure that was maintained. Well, the UN didn't ensure that it was maintained. Lebanese army cowering before Hezbollah militants. So yes, Hezbollah went back in, started launching rockets. So now Israel, in the most precise mass attack in human history. Yep, thousands of radios and pagers went off. The pagers on Tuesday, 12 dead, thousands wounded, thousands. And no, this wasn't, Israel with, some computer geeks heating up the pagers. No, there was a, small amount of explosive, like 2-4 grams, very small amount of explosives. So you could be standing next to one of these villainous terrorists whose pager goes off, blew his balls off, or blinded him, or blew his hands off. You'd be perfectly fine. You'd be fine. The only people carrying these pagers, not you and I, Hizbollah. In a James Bond-like scenario, Israel managed to sell Hezbollah pagers and radios filled with explosives. So the pagers, 12 dead, thousands wounded, many of them seriously. Good. They're out of combat. Hors de combat, right? They're out of combat. And, yeah, 12 dead. Good. And then on Wednesday, the walkie-talkies carry a heavier explosive load, 25 dead, 600 wounded. So, in addition to taking out these terrorists out of action, it has seriously disrupted the command and control that Hezbollah once had, right? Senior leaders have been killed, many senior operatives, and yes, terrorists killed. Good. And a major PSY operation. Now, when you're a Hezbollah fighter and somebody hands you a piece of kit, you're going to wonder, is this laced with some poison that's going to infect my skin or blood, right? You don't know what to expect. And that's what Israel wants. The targeting of the Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh in Iran, small bomb in his little room in a highly secured area. They got to him. If they can get to him, they can get to anybody. They can get to Hassan Nasrallah, anytime they want, anytime. Just waiting for it. And Israeli airstrike recently in Beirut killed 12 top Hezbollah commanders and other senior officials. In addition, recent bombings, hundreds of rocket launchers and thousands of rocket launching pads absolutely destroyed. And amongst the recent killed was Ibrahim Akil. And he is responsible for bombings in Beirut that killed dozens of Americans. So yes, Israel should be destroying these villainous monsters, and the United States should be cheering them on instead of trying to handcuff them. Harris recently said that she is slow-walking munitions, 2,000-pound bombs to Israel. Israel needs these ordinances to destroy these monsters. And Hezbollah was planning very much an attack analogous to the Hamas attack on October 7th. Yep, planning to infiltrate Israeli communities, kidnap and kill Israelis. They had already given Palestinian terrorists in Lebanon the permission to infiltrate Israel and to kill Jews. Except Israel got rid of them. Yep, got rid of them. So, more on this Hezbollah. Are they freedom fighters? And is Israel did they commit some mass war crime with these pagers and radio operations? No. Guess what? Hezbollah is not an organized military. It's a terrorist organization. The laws of war do not apply to them. And they were terrorists. They got what was coming to them. They got more coming to them, if you ask me. Hezbollah, the party of God, if you're a Satan worshiper. 1982, it stood up to attack American peacekeepers. They were in the business of kidnapping, torture, murder, and bombings. 1983, car bombing killed 63 people, including 8 CIA officials at the U.S. Embassy in Beirut. A truck bomb. Same year, at the American barracks, military barracks, killed 241 U.S. Marines. God-loving, American-loving U.S. Marines killed in a cowardly suicide truck bombing attack. And another attack, 58 French soldiers killed. 1984, bombed the U.S. Embassy Annex, killing 2, and a restaurant near the U.S. Air Force base in Spain, and a restaurant, killed 18 servicemen. They kidnapped a CIA station chief in Beirut. He was taken to Syria, then smuggled into Iran, tortured, brutally tortured for 15 months, dying of a heart attack as a result of these horrors visited upon him. 1984, Hizbollah hijackers seized a Kuwait plane, murdered 4 passengers, including two American hostages. 1988 again, Hezbollah kidnapped and murdered a U.S. Marine colonel in Lebanon. 1990, Hezbollah and Iran struck a deal with Al-Qaeda, right? Al-Qaeda, to wage jihad against the big Satan and the little Satan. That's right, the United States and Israel. And Hassan Nasrallah recently said, you know, the pager attack and the radio attack, walkie-talkie attack, the enemy has crossed all rules, laws, and red lines. And it's promised harsh punishment, but no, it's not interested in an escalation. Guess what? It escalated. You heard the litany of horrors visited upon Americans by Hezbollah, let alone Israelis. October 8th started launching attacks. It has launched thousands of attacks, indiscriminate, I remind you, indiscriminate attacks against Israelis. And yes, there are those 12 murdered Druze children by Hezbollah. So this nonsense, give peace a chance. Absolutely not. Not with these villainous monsters. They want nothing but dead Israelis. And they killed plenty of Arab Israelis. They killed people from Nepal, from all over the world, slaughtered them mercilessly. Anyways, no. Israel needs to finish the job, and the United States had better help. They are fighting God's war, Israel is. And the Biden administration, if Harris gets in, it will be that much worse. Anyways, thank you so much for your time and attention. And do check out my book, Deconstructing Social Justice. I will show you why these pointy-headed leftists are holding hands with these villainous Islamist murderers, right? The Red-Green Alliance. And you need to know about the rest of this poisonous leftist ideology. It's cultural Marxism, this social justice movement, the wokeness, whatever you want to call it. It's poisonous. And if you like the video, do drop a thumbs up. Gratifies my fragile male ego, and support and pray for the people of Israel. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Bye-bye now.